This is delusional. And you know what a lot of these kids do? They're scared of their parents. They're going to college. They don't want to talk to their parents about marriage. They don't want to talk about marriage. Because, you know, my parents are going to kill me, man. If I talk about marriage, they're going to kill me. I don't have my master's yet. I don't have my bachelor's yet. I don't have this yet. I don't have that yet. So I can't talk to them about it. Okay. I can't talk to them about it, but I still have all these crazy temptations. So you know what they do? They develop dual personalities. So they won't get married, but they do have a girlfriend on the side. They've done all kinds of things already. They're addicted to all kinds of filth on the internet. And this is not the exception, this is the norm. This is the average case. Our children are diseased. Their iman is being destroyed because of our stubbornness. We brought them into this society. They didn't come here, we brought them here. We brought them into a shameless society, and the solution to that shamelessness that Allah gave is nikah. And if you're not ready to get them married, then don't put them in that position. And if you put them in that position, you don't think Allah will ask you about it? You don't think Allah will come after you? You put them there. You put them in that situation. And I'm not saying that young people should get, the moment they hit puberty, they should get married. That's not what I'm saying. Everything comes together. If we raise them in a mature way and we respect them, and we expect them to treat themselves like adults, they will mature early, and when they mature early, they can marry early. If they're not maturing early, then that doesn't make sense marrying early, because marriage is a huge responsibility. It's starting a family. But if we don't put these things together, then we are setting ourselves up for destruction, I tell you. I know of cases. These are real cases. Real cases. A friend of mine is a youth counselor. These guys come to him, 20, 22-year-old grown Muslim men. They're coming to him and crying. I'm ready to get married. This girl I like, we've been talking for 2 years, but I'm not going to tell my parents. She's Muslim too. We've been talking, we keep talking. We're not going to get married. We can't get married because my dad says I have to finish med school. I've got 5 more years. And they're crying. And you say, how could you do that? Astaghfirullah. Stop saying astaghfirullah, accept that that's the reality. That's happening. You would be shocked at what you will find on the text message history of the young people with their cell phones here. Yeah, I know. I'm not asking you to show. But it's there. You'd be shocked to know what's on their Facebook profiles. You'd be shocked to know their browser histories and why they're so squeaky clean. Why they clean it out every time they leave the house. Well, you'd be shocked to know. We've put them in that position. We've done that to them. Now if you do that to them now, and they're addicted to things like pornography, they're addicted to things like dating, and premarital relationships, and partying and clubbing. Muslim kids clubbing. Muslim kids, MSA presidents. I know them. Clubbing. On the one hand, religious faith, to make their parents proud. On the other hand, they got to do what they got to do. They have urges, they can't help themselves. And then when these people, they have these addictions for 10 years, since they were teenagers until they got married, they have these addictions for 10 years. Do you think they have nikah and the next day their addictions are going to be gone? Is that how addiction works? No. If they were shamed, they lost their shame way before, they're not going to regain it. And you just ruined a girl's life too. You just ruined a girl's life. And what kind of children are you going to raise? All hell is breaking loose. We don't see this problem right now. We don't see it. This is happening behind closed doors. This is happening in the minds of our children. The masajid are coming up and the family structure is going down. We have to watch out. That's me again. We have to watch out. We have to protect this before it's too late. We've lost too many youth already. If we don't become proactive now, and I say the agenda of every masjid should be that, building strong families. Nothing else is more important. Nothing else is more important. And this was not a talk about welcoming young people into the masajid. As important as it is to build an amazing structure, equally, if not more important, a sister's lounge, where they can hang out instead of Starbucks, with Wi-Fi and all of that stuff. A basketball court for the guys, equally important. So they learn to hang out here and spend time here. Because if they're here, then it's proof that they're not somewhere worse. And if they're not here, who knows where they are. Right? This is not even a talk about that. This is just about our priorities. SubhanAllah, Allah has gifted me with 3 daughters and 2 sons. I have 5 children. It terrifies me. It really absolutely scares me to death. I was at a youth program, I'm not going to tell you which one. 500-600 young people, high school kids, Muslim kids got together there. I was supposed to speak there. I got there maybe 4 or 5 hours early, so I'm just spending time with these 500 teenagers. Wallahi, I was going to cry myself to death. Because I said, man, I just got 10 years and my girls are going to be teens. What am I going to do? These are the religious kids. These aren't even the party kids. These are the good Muslim kids. What's happening here? And these guys are at an Islamic program. We have to get our act together. Young people have to get their act together. And I'm blaming the elders as much as I am blaming the youth. I'm not passing the buck on any one of you. Because on Judgment Day, you're not going to be able to say, well, my masjid didn't have a basketball court and hence I was clubbing. That's not going to, it's not going to work. And on the other hand, parents are, you can't say, well, I paid this tuition and we were raised in a good family. I should bring him to Jummah once in a while. I don't know what else I can do. That's not going to fly either. We both have to become, both the young and the old have to become proactive and open this discussion carefully and craft this discussion. And it needs to be a discussion in every Muslim community across this country. Because wallahi, if we don't, I consider nothing else a bigger state of emergency in the Muslim world. Especially in the United States. Nothing is a bigger state of emergency than the state of our families, the state of how we're raising our children, the rate at which our young people are losing their shame. They're losing their haya. And if you don't have haya, how can you have iman? Haya is the essential ingredient in iman. It's an essential ingredient in faith. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us the ability to protect our haya, to revive our shame, to guard it, to raise children that are shameful and bashful. May Allah help us give the ability to make ourselves and our children the kind of people that aren't jealous of corruption, but they feel bad for it, and the only thing they find dignity and respect and honor is in their kalima, is in their la ilaha illallah. Wallahi, too many people lost their blood. So one day we could say la ilaha illallah. Too many people. They lost their lives making dua to Allah. One day my children will say la ilaha illallah. That's why they died, and we should respect their memory. And these are not thousands of years ago. This is 50 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, not even a century ago, where Muslims were dying. So because they could get rid of colonizers in Algeria, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in the Indian subcontinent, the Africans. They're fighting colonizers. So they could say, we can have masajid in this land. Our children can say la ilaha illallah one day. We are those children. What are we doing to respect their legacy? Or are we spitting at it? That's what we have to think about. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us a strong ummah once again. May Allah Azza wa Jal, take the good of what was said and enter it into mine and your hearts. And anything that I said that is incorrect, it's my own fault, and I ask Allah's forgiveness, and I ask all of you to forgive me as well. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim. Wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
For the youth.
Yeah.
Can you name a few?
Yeah, one of my favorite models in the country, I won't mention them in theory, I'll mention them practically. One of my favorite models is what's happening in Richardson, Texas, in Dallas. There's Brother Abdul Rahman Murphy, he's the youth director, and he started some really creative initiatives. They've got yoga classes for girls, and a lounge, and a counseling session. They've got basketball tournaments running now. They're doing kickboxing, all kinds of fun. And they did a barbecue, no lectures, no Islamic lectures, nothing. Just a barbecue. Or an all-night basketball tournament for the guys, etc., etc. What I'm trying to say is youth need to stay busy. We have to find ways of keeping them happily busy in the masjid. Or in a good environment, in a good, clean environment. If you can do that, you've already done a great service. Even if you're not teaching them religion right now, that's not the more important thing right now. The more important thing is they should get a sense of affiliation with Muslims. Then when they feel that bond, they will want to learn on their own. Right now, if you try to shove lectures down their throat, they won't come. A lot of you guys are friends. They would never come to the masjid. They would never sit in a lecture. But if you say, man, we're playing ball tonight. There's a nice court there. Are they going to come? Sure. There's a barbecue. And they're going to play some video games. They're going to come? Oh my God. They'll show up like you won't believe. He did that. He did that in Chicago when he was the youth director, right? So he said, okay, we're doing an all-nighter, and it's just whatever you want to talk about, and a basketball team and a barbecue. 500 kids showed up. 500 kids. Kids that have never been seen in the masjid before. Kids that don't even know how to say la ilaha illallah. They showed up. That's amazing. Why? Because the doors to the masjid were open to them. They were given a welcoming, program. So that's part of our strategy. That's one area that we have to address. The second thing is sisters usually get ignored in masajid. We have to have really creative, well-crafted, well-funded, social programs for girls. And I have a hard time figuring girls out because I'm not one and they're complicated. So I can't figure out my daughters, I can't figure out my wife or my sister.